Hey, hello. It's a terrific Tuesday, as we say in sort of radio world, don't we? Those sort of cliched DJs come up with all those crap that they say. Yeah, it's thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And here we are on week 6 of lockdown. That seems like an extraordinary thing, isn't it? This is the beginning right now of week 6. So that means like 6 weeks ago or whatever, 6 weeks in one day or whatever, 5 weeks in one day. Boris Johnson was announcing lockdown, and all the stuff that's unfolded since then was just a glimmer in somebody's eye.
That's right, and we're still here.
Yeah, how does it kind of feel?
Oh, it's draining because there's so much stuff to do in terms of work, and we have to do everything from our desks or home desks, shall I say. So it has been quite intensive for me particularly. Oh, look who's online.
Oh, hello! A very, very good evening to Rocker Kev, my man. It's great to have you with us, obviously. And and hello to Lisa as well.
Hello, Lisa.
Thank you for joining us. I'm sorry to report that today's rather a short one, because we've got the rock show coming up, but we'll push it as close as we can. But the last time I pushed it a bit too close. It was a few weeks back, I think. The first time we decided to do one of these on a Tuesday, and the rock show was 5 minutes late or 10 minutes late, so we can't have that. But we're all plugged off on the left-hand side and ready to rock for when the time comes. So it should be a fairly quick matter to just flick one button, flick another button, and kaboom. But there's a kind of rather peculiar thing when I'm streaming the rock show. Hello, Anita. Good evening to you. Tuesday night is rock night, as everybody knows, but it's Natter night as well. I have to start the rock show that I'm doing at 8, about 2 or 3 minutes early, because you have to send the stuff to the transmitter. Hello, Ben. Thank you for joining us. And Phil. Wow, we're having quite a house party tonight. Kevin says it's tough, but he's happy that we're still safe and alive, and that's what it's all about, really, isn't it?
I know.
You know, I popped out of my door today only to put the trash out. There's somebody on a bicycle, so I step well back and I go, no, save me. And 2 Kevins at once. So, hello to Kevin from I was going to say from Egypt, but from Ipswich. There's a slight difference there. I was never good at geography at school, And hello, Niall. It's very, very good to have you on board as well. I think we'll have to abandon the rock show tonight and just do this. Isn't that a cool
no,
outcome?
we've got 20 minutes.
So it's a bit of a short one tonight, but lots of stuff to get through. Finally, these announcements on the podiums and podia or whatever, if Kevin happens to know what today's question from the public was, I haven't had a chance to catch up on that.
Yes,
but that's the burning question of the day, and we can try actually as well, and to answer the burning question from the public at the Pest conference in our own kind of inimitable way.
Yes.
We'll try and do that if Kevin's able to find out what on earth it was.
Please.
Matt Hancock said that all residents and staff in care homes will now be able to access tests, which is a fantastic thing, and the government is going to release the figures for care homes, which is extremely important to do that. And I think oldies like me are going to get the tests as well. I read that somewhere else as well, that people of my advanced years will also be able to be tested, but I think only if we're coughing and our faces are kind of blue. But I'm not entirely sure about that. Carol, hello, Carol. It's very nice to have you on board. It's been a while, and I think we were talking about the other day how we're going to have a jolly good old get together once lockdown's over in the year 2525, which is when that will probably happen. I can't believe that I kicked off today with a few stories from the Sun newspaper, but that's me, and there it is, and there you go. And what can you do? What can you do with this boy, Irma? I don't know. So, anyways, we're trying to load the next thing I was going to talk about, and of course that goes no can do, not going to show you anything, which is so annoying.
Yes.
It is kind of, and here it comes. This is the Independent newspaper, which is now, of course, the Independent website. It's trying to play me a video, which will, of course, freeze everything, lock down the computer. I hate when those. Time for today's first rant of the day, I think.
But I think it has been worldwide. I mean, it's not just the one service provider that's having difficulty with the internet. I mean, I've been having problems since very early in the morning, and it's just ridiculous.
It's not just the one service provider, Virgin Media, that's been having with the problems with the internet. So I'm sure that there are other service providers having problems with the internet as well. Many other service providers are out there, but at the moment, Virgin Media is the only one that springs to mind as being absolute crap. And our broadcast ended very rapidly, right in the middle of a sentence. The other,
it was yesterday.
Last night.
That's right.
And then I was doing in the afternoon. I was doing a little live stream with my very good friend Steve, and that we had a black screen for 5 minutes right in the middle. So this is not fit for purpose, is it? Really, we'll have to think.
Make a petition.
Well, indeed. Indeed. And so. Yeah, so this is the story in the Independent newspaper. I'm going to have to close the tab because it's frozen up my whole thingy here. But anyway, the story is, all I could do is read the headline before the tab disappeared, that, as I mentioned, crotchety old folks like me, the over 65s, are going to have coronavirus tests made available to them. And about time too, I say, and now we can sort of move on to the sort of to the good news. The numbers every Tuesday, the numbers go up a bit, and that's because I think on the weekend the guy with the clipboard who goes around recording things in the old world of Corona, he probably has a bit of a snooze on Sunday afternoon or something. So the numbers don't quite. The numbers on Sunday and Monday seem to be a bit low, and we're thinking, hey, and then they creep up a bit on Tuesday when they get all the numbers in. But the numbers of mortality for this virus is definitely falling. Before lockdown, it was doubling every 3 days, so Lord only knows where it would be now. And we are falling week on week, and that's great news. That's great news. It makes us positive.
It's working. This
Now, loopy things to do on lockdown, and this comes from that paragon of the press, the Great Yarmouth Mercury. If you haven't read the Great Yarmouth Mercury, well, man. So this fella here, I love turning the laptop around and showing you, because I've got this like snazzy laptop which actually belongs to Irma, but she lets me borrow it from time to time, which is ever so sweet. So this guy has cut all the grass in all the communal areas in his entire village to celebrate lockdown. And it started with a grassy verge outside his home, a grassy verge, not a grassy knoll. That's another thing from the 1960s. A grassy verge. The grassy knoll was the thing to do with the late President Kennedy. And here's a guy who is so fit, in every sense of the word, that he can push 2 lawnmowers at the same time, something that I couldn't do. And if I did that, I'd have 2 fewer feet at the end of the evening than I started out with, I think. So
you're quite dangerous with tools.
His name is this. His name. That's a good question. Chris Hodgkins with a very spelled very strange. Chris with a K and Hodgkins with a Y. He comes from a town called Belton near Great Yarmouth, and he's mowed his entire village, raising nearly £300 for NHS charities and using a lot of petrol.
That's very good. That's very good. Every little counts in terms of helping.
And he's a mere 36 years old, and really getting down to it. And
it's a good exercise, It's a good exercise also to mow the lawn.
Yeah, actually, I think he didn't do it all himself. Reading more about the article from the Great Yarmouth Mercury, he got a few mates to help as well, but they were all socially distancing with their respective lawnmowers, bits of grass flying up in the air all over the place, and a nice, tidy village at the end of it all.
I bet they're going to have a lovely barbecue once all this is over.
Now, and here's something from a town close to the place where you lived, because Irma is from that place they call the Midlands, which is to the west of here. Yeah, to the west of here, and probably indeed.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what you were doing. Anyways, so this is a fella called Doug Moore. And he was originally from Wellingborough. He was taken to Northampton General, who's taken to Kettering General Hospital. All these place names get me terribly confused. And he's 98 years old, and he recovered, which is fabulous. So there he is, sitting up in bed, about to get a cup of tea, I think. And those kinds of uplifting good news stories are the kind of things that really rock my world, nearly as much as a big dose of Led Zeppelin, ZZ Top, and what should we say, Bon Jovi. But that'll have to wait until 8 o'clock. Quick plug for the show coming up later. You know, I'm an incorrigible fella. We have got about 20 minutes to go, I think, and then I will have to disappear very hurriedly and I'll immediately start the transmitter going, and because it needs to warm up, the old radio transmitter, and it's also camfm.co.uk, and we'll get the rock show up and running. But you know, terrific news about this fella who's made a sterling recovery. He's a couple of years older than me, at 98. Hello, Edward. How are things down Bristol way? Hope they're good for you this evening. And we are rounding up the good news. And I don't know that anybody else is actually rounding up the good news, but don't give them ideas because we've got the exclusive on it. So this is the place to get the good news every night-ish when we don't have when I don't have one of my turns where I go, "Wee," and I don't look very good on air doing that. So not only was grass being mowed in the village of Belton, I remember that because I've got a good friend called Duncan Belton, but in the village of Winsford, and I have no idea where that is, that's in Cheshire apparently, they have been cleaning the gravestones, probably with a toothbrush, and Ryan van Emnes has cleaned more than 20 headstones with help from his children. Yeah, we don't want to see grubby headstones when we walk around the old cemetery. We want to see them shine.
Yeah, but it's a very good exercise for the families. I remember when we were little, we used to go and do stuff
There we go.
together.
You see, and rather than drink Dettol and all those things, as POTUS told us the other day, don't drink Dettol for the avoidance of doubt. 30 people did and went to hospital. Rather than do that, we can sort of, and I don't know actually, I'm not a gravestone expert, but just, you know, polish the tombstones with it. There might be better things than Dettol to use to shine, sandblast them. Yeah, that's it. But you mustn't rub out all the lettering because that's quite sort of special and precious to the people residing down below. But sandblasting, cool. It's good.
Or get a book with a toothbrush and just go.
Yeah, that was my thing.
No, you mustn't.
No. Oh well, it's just a thought. It's just a thought, you know. So then there's a bus stop that has now, in fact, a bus stop was this is the Telegraph, and there's a song about a bus stop written by a very talented guy called Graham Gouldman. A bus stop where there she says, "Let's stay under my umbrella." But anyway,
don't give it a day job.
yeah, I know. But there is a bus stop that is now an art gallery. So that's like one of those knock jokes or something. Or, you know, when is a bus stop not a bus stop? I don't know. When it's an art gallery, which without that photograph wouldn't make any sense, would it? But that is being the Telegraph. Of course, they use long pretentious words. Some of us see a bus stop and experience a Proustian rush, which is one of those things, I guess. And this is Turnham Green in West London. Oh, the District line, I think, goes through that, the green-coloured one. So I've been there, albeit fleetingly, on the old London transport system. Hello, Paul. It's lovely to have you with us this evening. It's just a short show, but after that, you'd be very welcome to join me at camfm.co.uk for 2 hours of my weekly outing that I do. That's kind of the high point of my week, and it's been the high point of my week for about 10 years now. It was 2010 when I started it, so we are actually in year 10. Now, another very exciting development today, possibly related, although not necessarily, to the fact that a whole load of B&Qs opened up, didn't they, over the weekend? And the car park on the one in Cambridge was absolutely chocker. My good friend Darren told me, so I won't be going there anytime soon. But increasingly, it looks like visits to the dump may be permissible in the not too distant future. Whoa! And that is really, you know, I've been missing my visits to the dump because, you know, I always come away with more stuff than I take. And I think, yeah, well, I love that typewriter and that old water cartridge. I'm sure if I rinse that and shake it a bit, that'll be good for another month and all that kind of stuff. So you know, we come back with a whole car full of useless tosh every time we go there, and we might remove a thimble from home or something like that. Kev and hello, Rodney. Thank you for joining us this evening on a slightly shorter bulletin than usual. So what does Kevin say about the public questions then?
There were 2 public questions today. Amanda from Hull. Given that grandparents cannot be used as childcare, what's the plan for easing the lockdown for full-time working parents who have young children that might not be allowed to be in school on a full-time basis?
That's a very good question. So our take on that would be let's have some of those furloughed workers. That would be the ones that are not picking fruit right now. the ones that are not out in the fields picking fruit, so the very small minority of furloughed workers who haven't responded to the government's plea to go and pick fruit, let's ask them to do it. Just a thought. Just a thought. What was question 2 then?
I'll let you read that one.
This is Sadie from Northampton in your neck of the woods. My 10-year-old my 10-year-old son has cystic fibrosis and autism. Apart from shielding, is there any other option for him and the others in the extremely vulnerable category to return to school and be part of society again without a vaccine being available? I'm not a medical expert. I'm in one of those high-risk categories, and I'm not even a child rushing around as children do. We're staying here very much in isolation until the guys fix it. And we know that they're fixing it. There's probably never been. This is more of a scientific effort with countries working together than putting a man on the moon.
But those are the public questions put to the...
Those were the public questions put to the people on the podium today. Well, we said at the beginning that we would give our answers, and if you want their answers, well, it'll be on YouTube or the BBC News website or whatever. But those two answers were answers. It's very, very tough for anybody who's in one of those at-risk groups. It's a real bugger. And when I'm going down the old road and I see somebody coming towards me, I get the old wooden cross out and hold it like that. And if that doesn't work, then I back off. I'll back off and try not to get run over. But I'll sort of be in the middle of the road or something like this.
For question number 1, I think if you
remind us of question number 1.
Is
the one about
given
grandparents.
the grandparents cannot be used as childcare, what's the plan for easing the lockdown for full-time working parents who have young children that might not be allowed to be in a school on a full-time basis? Well, I assume is that employers have to foot the bill in terms of having some kind of childcare facility. Or, for example, I used to work for this big bank. We were allowed 1 day every now and again to you can bring your child with you to work, of course, well behaved.
Hello, Sarah. Thank you for joining us, and hello, Cal. It is superb to have you with us this evening. We're only here, unfortunately, for another 10 minutes because then I've got to nip off to Radioland where I will be dropping into the hot seat at 8 o'clock. And in fact, the microphone's right here, so it won't be a great amount of effort to actually do my radio show. All I'll have to do is move my arm a little bit, but it's the thought that counts, is what they say, I guess. I'm letting out all the tricks of the trade, and all the kit is assembled here, just on the left-hand side, and ready to roll. So the turntables are spinning, and we're keeping them warm and all that. And back in the day, do you know on the radio how? Oh, David, hello, thank you for joining us this evening. I'm just going to let you into one of the inner sanctum, innermost secrets of radio. Back in the day, when records were kind of, either was it 6 inches or 12 inches round and made of black vinyl and quite thin, and you'd put them on the turntable and put the arm on the thing and it would play. Well, there's this thing where you wanted the record to start instantly, because if you'd otherwise, when you start a record, it would go, and if every record did that at the front, it would be a real devil. So we used to have little triangular pieces of felt, and we would stick the turntable spinning round underneath, the big metal turntable. It would be spinning round and round and round. Then the felt would be on top. We'd hold the bit of felt. The record would be on top of that, and when you let go, it would start immediately without going. So but all these it's a dead art nowadays, isn't it? I mean, only in a museum would I be able to do that kind of thing. And the equipment that used to be was in use when I was at the BBC is now in glass cases, and it's some kind of corporate place. I think it's the LSE or something like that. And the equipment that I used to sit down and use in that BBC building is in glass cases for people to go, oh my God, how primitive! How could they live like that?
Yeah, well, I didn't realise you were that old.
Well,
word of the day.
Yep, come on, let's have your word of the day, and then you'll have mine.
What's a maverick?
A maverick is somebody who bit of a wild person who's operating just on the sort of fringes of the law and that kind of thing, like selling snake oil or that sort of thing.
No.
A maverick investor.
No. If you are raising cattle on a ranch in North America, a maverick is a calf you haven't branded yet. If it wanders off, you're likely to get it back because no one will know it belongs to you. If a person is a maverick, he or she has a tendency to stray from the beaten path. Normally, in the sense of not holding orthodox views and being independent-minded. A maverick politician, for example, isn't one who willingly toes the party line. Carl.
Hey,
We,
yeah,
we all Mavericks.
the Maverick Club. Welcome to Maverick Club. And Maverick was also it was a TV show, a TV series with a guy called James Garner, who was very, very, very popular. And it was a kind of Wild West kind of thing where he wear a Stetson hat and all this kind of thing. He was later known as Jim Rockford for the Rockford Files. Very talented and very nice actor. He also made a film called Support Your Local Sheriff. And Kevin didn't know the thing about the piece of felt. And I used to have one of them until recently, but then it got eaten by moths. So it got binned, the tragedy. Now, here's my word of the day, which I'm going to ask you. I can spell it for you if you want. Pneumagen. Pneumagen.
It sounds like pneumatic.
It does. It's a word that until 5 seconds ago I'd never heard before in my life. But that makes it, and I wouldn't have known, but now I can tell you that Pneumagen is an antiviral drug developed by a commercial spin-off of the University of St Andrews. Isn't that the one where Prince William went? I believe it is. And it's had some positive results in laboratory tests against COVID-19. Do you think that was a bit of an unfair question?
Yeah.
Well... Okay.
Well, we're nearly done now. Because
we are, but I need to. There's more stuff to talk about. Like 3 new beaches in Australia which have reopened, including that one. Is it called Blondie Beach or is it Bondi Beach?
Don't know.
It's Bondi Beach, but I think it's funny to say Blondie Beach. But anyway, so that's pretty good. And Germany, Spain, Portugal, they're all kind of starting to ease up a bit. We can't yet because we were a bit too late to start because we were asleep and denying it and blah, 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 blah. Cal says she forgot about the Tuesday show. It starts as soon as I switch off from here. And it's camfm.co.uk, and I will put that link in the comments as well, and it'll be super, absolutely super if you could join us, and we're taking requests, and it'll be just the old classic rock tunes. They have to have a tune. They can't go like some of the modern rock songs because that's not very nice, and no dubstep either, which just goes which even though it's not rock, it'll just be the songs that we all know and love. And Cal says, I think she's talking about Maverick, that she's a Maverick too.
Yeah.
We're all Mavericks together here. And
oh my God, Carl.
We're
the
proud.
adventures you put me through, we've been through, that's amazing.
Yeah, we're absolutely proud to be
awesome
Mavericks.
memories.
Maverick and kind of proud of it. Now, Kevin tells me as well that Tom Cruise in Top Gun, I remember that. Love lift us up where we belong. This whole video is just an excuse for me to get a top 5 record with my singing. You see, I'm just hoping to showcase it during the top 10.
Stick to DJing.
Top 20.
No.
Oh my goodness! Not the top 100. Well, I'm going to aim for the Billboard charts, but yeah. So as a vehicle for my talents and stuff. So that's good. What else have we got here? We've got the Royal Shakespeare Company, the good old RSC, and they are, which is probably better than some bloke from EastEnders, to be perfectly frank. The Royal Shakespeare Company are helping children with online homework, and you can send questions about plays, speeches or lines, and the company presumably from Shakespeare, and members of the cast, including David Tennant, including Sir Patrick Stewart. So these are kind of really, wow, people that even I've heard of. And they will answer your questions. Make it so.
Right then. Think we need to wrap up?
We certainly will. Is it Christmas if we're going to wrap up? Wrap something up? And that'll be good. A smartphone app will be ready in 2 to 3 weeks here in the UK, where it'll vibrate or something, and to tell you if you've been in close touch with somebody with the old COVID, which is quite nice. And Cal, you are my best friend. Top 10, she says. Don't settle for the top 100. Absolutely not. Kevin has put a link on the links. Is that a bit of a tautology to say where you can hear the rock show? I won't even have time to post it on Facebook properly, I think. So so please go along there and listen up. Although we're
ready to go now.
We're not quite ready to go.
are.
There's a few things that we haven't discussed.
Let me take my pulse.
So like for example, but this is a premium article. so I can't actually read it out. All I can read is the headlines from the Daily Telegraph. But it's why we should salute Captain Tom Moore's polished style in this era of relaxed dressing. Those kind of jeans, corduroys, t-shirts. I'm going to see how far I can get with this article, because it will one paragraph down the page it'll say subscribe and it'll all dissolve, but it's a super nice picture of the lovely fella.
Whoever's making that question don't know the word gentleman.
Well,
what it means.
Well, it describes him, and I think this is lovely. A twinkly-eyed ray of sunshine. That's a lovely thing, and he will be 100 years old tomorrow. I thought it was on the 30th. Maybe tomorrow is the 30th.
Yeah.
But anyway, tomorrow's the 29th. But anyway, so maybe, I'm not sure. But anyways, absolutely, absolutely fantastic fella. And it's actually, maybe as a tribute to Captain Tom, it's allowing me to scroll down the whole article. God bless the Daily Telegraph, the world's best newspaper as of tonight. There's a very young and very dapper and dashing and handsome Captain Tom. And what a lovely fella. But, who would have thought that he would have, how many, was it, 250,000? I think it was something like that, wasn't it? Birthday cards turning up
it was a whole
to support him. So it's going to take him a long time to kind of read them. And even at the rate of 1 hour, we'll have to sort of work out how many. We'll have to do a spreadsheet to work out if he read 1 card an hour, how long it would take him, and how old he'd be when he finished. We'll save that one kind of for another day. We are really running close to the wire now, so I think we are probably going to have to draw a line under things, for which I do apologise, because I love our little fireside chats in the old living room here every night. We are going to be continuing these for the old foreseeable. Hello, Sarah. I'm sorry to report that we're just about to go off because we are going to Pastures New, which is a radio show, which you're more than welcome to join us. It won't have the pictures. And
I'm just reading Kevin.
So Cal says, I got his birthday card today, which said, "You are absolutely amazing," which is, hey, so true. And Kevin says, glad to see one of your fans, Irma, and we're great fans of Cam. I'm thinking the radio station Cam FM. We're great friends of Cal as well. There's Irma nervously looking at the old watch, thinking, will he make it? But look, I've got to show you a snake rescued from an oven, and because I think when snakes are in ovens, we should certainly try to rescue them. So I'll leave you this from the Irish News. To be sure, here's a picture and I'm allowed to do that, to do my Irish impression without being in any way, shape or form defamatory or racist, because I have Irish blood. My grandfather was Irish, just to be sure. I do the old blarney whenever I can. And with that, so complaints in writing, please. Cal says, go to the edge. Yes, we'll be living on the edge. We might even start with some Aerosmith tonight and that song. You never know. We're really taking it up to time now. I'm going to wind up my gramophone. I'm going to put my little bits of felt on, and if you're watching not on Facebook but on YouTube, you'll see that all the equipment here is standing by and ready to roll. I wasn't able, sadly, to do that pan around on the old Facebook channel because
we need to go.
Yes, it's the very edge. We're going to do a very edgy show tonight. Cam FM. In fact, what I'm going to do just before I go is I'm going to post in the comments on this post, although I know Kev did so earlier, I'm going to post the link to the rock show, which will be live, believe it or not, in as little as 5 minutes. It would be lovely if you can come across and join me there, and we'll see you on the other side, which is right there. Thank you so much for your company this evening. Obviously, if you're watching it on Watch Again, then don't go over there because I won't be on, although it's a very nice station. You want to listen to everybody else as well. But from us tonight, a very, very, very good night.
Bye.